There was a lot that kind of led to it. The 2 games before, when she was in Connecticut, first game, she came in and hitting, elbowing, and I talked to one of the refs when she checks in. Hey, we got history from the first game.
There's not just the voice. There's these pictures, that have come out. And I know a lot of people immediately want to say, well, these are, they're not real pictures, right? They're doctored photographs. But this one I saw, I was like, man, that's actually the girlfriend in the background. But let's say this is
The question isn't why we try to get Brittney Griner home. We should be trying to get all of our people. Again, that would have included the hundreds or if not thousands of people we left behind in Afghanistan when we turned the place over to the Taliban in cowardly fashion. But I'm glad that Brittney Griner is home. The question is why we traded one of the world's most notorious arms dealers for a WNBA player. That seems like a really crappy trade.
What if I told you the WNBA just dropped its biggest twist yet? Picture this. A doctor, a clipboard, and Brittney Griner walk into the truth booth, and what comes out? Absolute chaos. This isn't just basketball gossip, it's like a gender reveal party packed with wild plot twists. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will leave your jaw on the hardwood. Let's dive into the madness.
Before we actually go, I just wanted to continue on with that. We had to end our Sirius XM show. We said goodbye to Anna, but I just have a couple of other thoughts. We've talked a lot in this show about the dangers to women, the basketball players from that school, Lowell in Massachusetts, who were injured when that trans player, a boy pretending to be a girl, hurt them with the KIPP Academy. Remember that? We've talked about the girl, the field hockey player in Massachusetts who got her teeth knocked out and severe facial injuries from playing against a biological boy. We've talked at length about Peyton McNabb. There have been many other situations. And that's reason enough. Just the obvious risk of putting your girl up against a post-pubescent boy.
Chappelle, the noted comedian, said, what if LeBron James, essentially, I'm paraphrasing here, what if LeBron James had decided to transition to being a woman? Mm-hmm. He'd average 800 points a game.
Right,
Who's
exactly
going to stop him? That's what he brought up. He said, so we think that we're being fair. We think that we're being okay with our thinking, but we're not taking it into total consideration in terms of how it really, really registers with us. And so when somebody like you comes along and you're very, very passionate about it and you're going at folks for okaying this stuff, they want to attack you. And I'm sitting there saying to myself, you can't find something better to do. I mean, listen, Megyn Kelly's on a game, but you certainly ain't going to win this argument because we're watching and we see, who couldn't see that you were right? It was people who didn't want to see.
Just like that, Brittney Griner went from WNBA MVP to MVP of the Conspiracy Olympics. The court's still hardwood, but now the drama feels straight out of a telenovela, only with fewer subtitles and way more testosterone. Apparently, someone with a stethoscope and way too much free time decided Griner might not just be dunking on defenders. She might be dunking on gender norms too.
Brittney Griner is, in fact, a man. One of the videos that give us cause to say that is this video. It is from her Instagram stories from years and years ago. And when it comes to Instagram, they use a combination of AI detection and plus manual surveyors to make sure that no explicit content ends up on the platform. So clearly whatever AI detection system was used when Brittney posted this and it stayed up for 106 weeks was not like, oh, this is a female chest, we have to take this down. Oftentimes, if breast cancer runs in a family, women will preemptively get like double mastectomy.
Because when you're 6 feet 8 inches, built like an action figure, and rocking vocal cords that sound like Barry White's ghost, it's only a matter of time before the internet runs a DNA test through a meme.at first. It feels like just more locker room gossip with a bad Wi-Fi signal until the so-called doctor shows up, clipboard in hand, armed with credentials and a mission to reveal what the WNBA never put on a stat sheet: what's in Brittney's box score below the belt.
She had a press conference and they asked her and it was like, what do you think about, transgenders participating in women's sports? And she said she was an advocate for it. Like, she believed that they should be able to participate in one
Then
sport.
then I believe she should have been in a male prison in Russia. Then,
That's what I said.
if she believed transgender women, then she should have been in a male prison in Russia. Then transgender women that want to be men should go. Now transgender men who want to be women.
See, it's all confusing.
Now this Doctor Who, let's be honest, probably graduated from the University of YouTube comments claims to have evidence. Not vibes, not hearsay, but full-blown anatomical proof. According to this mystery PhD, Brittney's X and Y chromosomes might be running a full-court press, which would make her, in their eyes, a man in a women's league. If that's true, it means Brittney hasn't just been blocking shots, she's been blocking entire gender debates like Dikembe Mutombo.
Actually, there is. But it's very difficult because you say that tattoo, but when you're taking a picture, it flips, right? So it kind of gives it like a mirror image. So that's not necessarily the right side. That's his left side, right? So there wouldn't be a tattoo. So you got to take these into account. This one, though, is the legit. Like, you know, if you're looking at photos and you're like, okay, which ones are not doctored? Which ones seem to be real? This would be the one. These were pulled, and you can look these up yourself. They have like these Wayback Machines for Instagram that save photos.
Every slow motion replay of Brittney grabbing a rebound now feels like an episode of Scooby-Doo. Let's see who she really is, says the internet, yanking off her metaphorical mask only to reveal Chad? Kyle? Steve? Who knows? What's clear is someone's indie license is being used like a backstage pass to America's favorite gender panic concert. Because, of course, this couldn't just be about basketball. No, it had to turn into gender gatekeeping on steroids or maybe testosterone injections, depending on which Reddit thread you tumble into. Suddenly, everyone's a geneticist, an endocrinologist, and a spiritual advisor all rolled into one. Look at the jawline. One shouts, "That's a dude's laugh." Another insists as if being tall with a deep voice automatically makes you eligible for the NFL Combine. But the alleged doctor wasn't done. Oh no! They brought out charts, measurements, hormonal analysis that reads like it was ripped from a Snapple cap. Shoulders too broad, they claim. Hands like baseball mitts. At this rate, the next step is measuring her shoe size to determine political leanings. Apparently, if you're rocking anything above a women's size 13, you're no longer female, you're a Marvel villain in sneakers.
Who pretended...
Is that like a Spanish name?
No, it's not. It's a movie basically about a man who had to impersonate a woman so that he could play professional basketball.
Ah, okay. Kind of
Yeah.
like a Mrs. Doubtfire.
Kind of, exactly. Kind of like a Big Mama's house type of thing. But there's, funny enough, I mean, you mention it as a movie, but there's a lot of that going on where now men are pretending to be women to play in women's sports leagues. Isn't that just ironic?
Because, you know, recently a video clip of Brittney Griner has been going viral.
Yeah, where she says that it's unfair that transgender women can't play professional sports.
And almost everyone, to the last person in the comments, is saying, yo, this is a dude.
And somehow, the WNBA is just sitting there like a nervous parent at a parent-teacher conference. We just wanted to play basketball, they whisper, while half the country turns Brittney Griner into the poster child for a biological debate she never signed up for. You'd think someone smuggled the Dead Sea Scrolls into the locker room with how people are dissecting her medical history. But let's be honest, this isn't about science. If it were, the doctor wouldn't be revealing truths through TikToks with dramatic zoom-ins and royalty-free thriller music. This is flat earther energy with a new obsession. Only now it's, here's why Brittney's knees prove she's secretly bobbed. We've entered the era of gender detection by vibes, and the vibes are wearing a lab coat from Party City. Just imagine the press conference if any of this were even halfway true. Yes, I've been dominating the WNBA for years, and surprise plot twist, I've got a beard and witness protection. Post-game interviews would turn into Gender reveals with confetti cannons and hormone panels. Opposing teams would bring OBGYNs to midcourt. Timeout. Coach, we need to run a pelvic scan.
Widespread speculation for a while now, but it's really kind of come to a head on Twitter over the last couple of days that Brittney Griner, the WNBA's Brittney Griner, is in fact a man. And where a lot of this actually surfaced from, and I mean, you guys could probably say like, yo, isn't it obvious? Like her voice, you know, there's a lot of things that you can kind of look towards.
Meanwhile, the fans are split. Half are clutching their pearls and Googling female pelvic structure, while the other half just want to know if she's still dropping 30 a night. Spoiler, she is. Which means even if she were a dude, the league still hasn't figured out how to stop her. That's the real scandal. They're busy checking chromosomes, while Brittney's out here stuffing layups and shattering gender assumptions like backboards. And let's not forget the internet detectives. They've slowed down every clip of her stretching, blinking, breathing, searching for a 5 o'clock shadow or an Adam's apple playing peekaboo. It's where's Waldo, except Waldo's in a WNBA jersey, and the grand prize is righteous indignation, which raises the real question: what would actually change? Would the league send her home with a thank you card and a gender reassignment checklist? Would her trophies be repossessed like a used Toyota, or would we all just admit that maybe, just maybe, she's a phenomenal athlete who doesn't fit neatly inside a binary box made of 1950s expectations and YouTube doctorates? Of course not, because that would make sense. And nothing about this saga is here for logic, it's here for clicks, outrage, and a whole lot of people yelling Biology 101 without ever passing the class.
I'm ready to get there. I'm ready to just learn from her. Got to play with her a little bit with USA, and I'm just ready to feed off her and just give all I can to the Phoenix Mercury.
A round of applause for my wife. Honestly, she had the hardest job. Honestly, thank you so much, babe, for being.
So here we are. Griner's dominating the court while allegedly having her gender audited by a rogue doctor with the enthusiasm of a conspiracy theorist and the discretion of a TMZ reporter. And yet, the scoreboard hasn't changed. Griner, 92 internet speculation still scoreless. But just when you thought the drama peaked with a clipboard-wielding doctor doing gender forensics courtside, Brittney Griner takes a verbal detour and body slams Caitlin Clark like it's WWE SummerSlam. No layup. No finesse. Just a straight-up slur, a low blow that echoed across the league louder than a missed free throw in an empty gym. This same league that's been selling empowerment like hotcakes suddenly found itself starring in its own self-sabotage infomercial. The WNBA, now featuring petty, problematic punchlines. Caitlin Clark, the rising golden girl of women's basketball, barely had time to stretch her rookie knees before she got hit with Griner's verbal alley-oop of disrespect. And it wasn't subtle. This wasn't a passive-aggressive side-eye or a vague tweet with some people's shade. This was Griner going full Grinch on Whoville, launching a cheap shot so low, it probably tripped over its own morality on the way out. The irony: Griner spent years fighting for fairness, equality, and the right not to be reduced to a stereotype, only to turn around and lob one herself with the precision of a three-point sniper.